couldn't even hardly touch it.
Oh, Marge really is. She gets them again.
You guys
Yeah.
are
Like a
recording.
Pfizer, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way I could tell was if I actually touched the spot.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, I wouldn't even know. Both times.
No, I couldn't that day. It was that night I was like, it's something's starting to happen. And then the next day I was like, wow.
You guys are recording.
Okay.
Okay.
Still have a few minutes, don't we? Good. Yep. I forget to even look and see what the temperature was, but it was nice out. Just
It was 55 a little while ago. It was warmer than that earlier.
yeah.
It's beautiful. How's your chin?
Yeah. Oh, still got warrants.
I'm coming.
Wait,
There's 2 places to sign on this one. I'm not smart enough to figure out where to write my name.
You getting trickier?
I have one. There's 2 places to sign. That last one, I thought I was done, but.
sign those after. Alright, I've got 5 o'clock. I call the meeting to order today, Tuesday, April 20th, 2021. Roll call, we have Selectman Mike Mansalilli, Mackenzie Jewett, Kevin Buck, myself, Jamie Thurlow, Town Clerk Katie Danderan, Town Manager Chris Saunders, and Jack of all trades Jesse Dunbar. Would you like to excuse Howdy contacted me and said that he would not be making tonight's meeting.
I'll make a motion to excuse Howdy Goodwin from tonight's meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to excuse Howdy Goodwin from tonight's meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Alright, adoption of agenda. Is there anything anyone would like to change on the agenda? Alright, and I guess first we have a public hearing. We have a liquor license for Archie's Lobster, and it's going to be a food truck at the McEachran Hutchins property. And would you like to speak or anything about it? Or?
Sure. My name's Heather Lewis, and we are going to put a food truck down at McEachran Hutchins Lumberyard out on the water section. And I was requesting to put in just a beer and wine liquor license, so no draft or anything like that, just sold by the can. If patrons decide that they like to have a beer with their lobster roll or their lobster dinner, and so that's all I'm offering on-site premise, obviously drinking with that, and just very basics, a couple craft beers and a couple selections of wine, and that's all I'm offering.
Okay. And are you going to be using any of the like the buildings to put people in to seat, or is it just gonna be out and
It's
like
gonna
a?
be, I
in the
have
air?
10 picnic tables, so
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yep.
looking for like maybe seating of 60 people, maybe a couple little smaller ones, just so
Yep.
2 people don't take up a 6-foot table. But basically, inside the metal building,
Mhm.
I'm gonna put my walk-in cooler,
Oh.
so that I can put all my refrigeration, that's excess of what's in the food truck, because we're obviously a certain size. So, that's basically what that building will be used for. It's an awfully large building for a
Yeah,
walk-in
yeah.
cooler. Having said that, but, I might have dry storage in there as well.
Yeah, well, it's good to see it used for something to, you know,
We're very
that's good.
excited to try to make a stab at this
Yeah.
and see if we can make a go of it and then expand upon it, you know, as it allows.
Yeah, good. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully you do good.
Thank you. Thank you. Please throw up every day.
Yeah.
I've got a couple questions on your drawing. What's the trap line?
We were thinking about just, because I'm not leasing the whole yard, we were just gonna put a row of, lobster traps that we were not using to just kind of delineate, so that we don't have patrons that are going through the rest of Leslie's property. We were just gonna try to divide it so that we couldn't have free range.
Okay, and that's just like one trap high?
Well, now we were thinking maybe 3 traps high.
Okay.
Mhm.
And the people that are drinking, you're not selling like a convenience store, they have to drink
Oh,
on
no,
premise?
they have to drink it on the premise
How,
where they're
how are you gonna contain that? I was trying to figure that out from
Well,
your.
because the back of the building where the seating area is, once I work with Jesse about the site, true site plan, well, you can see it right here, the way that food truck is sort of positioned kitty corner,
Mhm.
and if that trap wall goes over there, it pretty much contains the people that I literally have to walk through, pie my food truck to exit and enter the premise.
Yeah, if you did a
They're not
little,
gonna be able to walk around behind the porta potty area?
No,
Okay, that's what I was curious about.
Yeah,
It didn't
no.
look like they were restricted
no,
to.
we'll probably have to put something at the end of that building and
Mhm.
cordon it off. You know what I mean? And I mean, the end of the building towards the
Okay.
road, we'll block
Yeah.
that off with a couple traps so that it's basically a dead end.
Okay, that's what I was concerned
Yeah,
about.
or we might even dead end it right after the porta potty.
yeah,
Okay,
no, that'd be a good idea,
That
right
could be
after those
parking.
porta potties to, just so people, so you don't have to worry about it.
Right, and no, I don't even have enough capacity to use convenience stores, it's gonna be a small selection.
okay, yeah, that was my only concern.
I like it. I'll make a
Okay.
motion to
Oh.
approve the application.
Sorry, I
Just-
thought you had to open and close the public hearing.
Okay,
I
I thought I already opened it,
Oh, I'm
but,
sorry.
yeah.
Um,
Closing the public hearing. Now, whatever you have for a time, Chris. Then Mackenzie, you're good.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the application of Archie's Lobster located at 90 Tremont Road for a state on-premise liquor license.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the application for Archie's Lobster located at 90 Tremont Road for a state on-premises liquor license. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Exciting.
All right. What do we have? Approval of minutes. We have the minutes from Monday, April 5th.
Make a motion to approve the meeting, the minutes of Monday, April 5th, 2021.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from Monday, April 5th, 2021. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, approval of warrants. We have warrant 96 for $145.31. Warrant 97 for $9,549.51. 98 for $9,835.67. 99 for $4,633.76. 100 for $9,966.41. 101 for $36,599.27.
I'll make a motion to approve warrants 96 through 101.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve warrants 96 through 101. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I think we've got 2 copies of 101 here, Chris. And that,
You're signing
yeah,
too,
well, it's
right?
yeah.
Like what?
No, I didn't sign the second one because the totals are the same.
Yeah, might have accidentally put.
Yeah, I just want to make sure before we end up signing it twice here, everyone.
If they're identical, then it won't. Are they identical?
Yeah, apparently.
Okay, then
Okay.
one of them will be tossed out.
Okay. I just,
Thank you for checking that.
yeah, I'm going to separate one off right now.
All right, any more discussion? All those in favor? All right, financial reports. That's you, Chris.
We had a fairly quiet month of March. That's 75% of the way through the fiscal year. We did have a couple notable revenues come in. We had the cable franchise fee came in at $24,671.41, which is $2,000 more than anticipated. And harbor revenues are also starting to come in. Boat excise tax and mooring taxes and mooring fees are paid in the spring, and so we're starting to see those come in. Over the course of the next few months, we'll hopefully close the gap between revenues and expenses in that fund. On the expense side of the ledger, the big thing that I have been repeating every meeting, and I'll keep repeating it, is the administration cost center. It's our biggest cost center, and we're now at exactly 75% of its budget for the year, so it's right on track. Typically, this usually runs a little bit under budget, and so the fact that it's now at budget shows that expenses are starting to tick up. One of the main reason driving that is we have Jesse here, who is transitioning into the town manager position, which I think makes a lot of sense. And so that was not budgeted originally, and that's fine. I think we're going to be possibly slightly over budget at the end of the year. But I also want you to keep in mind that we had $25,000 of revenue from the Keep Maine Healthy grant, which we did not anticipate receiving when the budget was prepared. And so any overages, I think, are going to easily be absorbed into the overall revenues, and still have a very healthy addition to our fund balance at the end of the year. The last couple of things, we had some public works winter roads expenses come in March, and at this point that part of the budget is probably just about closed out for the year, and so you can see that it was at, let's see, winter roads, just about 50% of what the budget was. 83,000 is what we budgeted. We spent about 40,000, and there might be a few more bills rolling in just because some vendors are slow to send out invoices. But you can see, the dollars and cents behind having a mild winter like we had this year makes a big difference. Finally, on the general ledger side, we received $6,000 from the state and municipal revenue sharing in March. That brings our total receipts for the year up to $67,344. This is actually over what I expected to receive for the whole year. We still have 3 months left, obviously. So that's, again, great news. I expect to receive about $90,000 at this point total for the year. So that's good for our bottom line.
Good, thank you, Chris.
I make a motion to accept the July 2020 through March 2021 financial report.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the July 2020 through March 2021 financial reports. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, now we are on to regular business. We have climate resolution, and Carrie Donovan has requested for this to be in our agenda. And would you like to speak about this?
Sure. I requested that it be on the agenda. You probably realize it wasn't something that I did by myself.
Yes,
but
yep.
I put it together to work on it. It had been in the back of my mind for a while that maybe we should create some kind of a climate resolution for Tremont. I was aware of what's happening in Bar Harbor. Mount Desert has a resolution on the table that they're going to consider. And then there were some things that just came together in a very short period of time that made me convinced that this was a good time to actually actually get serious and do it. One of them was when I saw that little item in the Islander that said that Tremont was one of the 10 towns in Maine that would be most impacted by climate change. That definitely caught my attention. Your document says 20 because we couldn't source where that 10 towns came from, but we did find a list that was, credible of the 20 towns in Maine that would be most impacted. And then I also at the same time became aware that we were embarking on your 10-year comprehensive plan, and it seemed like logical that you're doing long-term planning to be thinking about climate change. And then I saw that Jill Goldthwait had gone to the League of Towns and suggested that the towns might want to get together and hire a sustainability consultant. And we're not telling you that you should do that, but it just seemed like Tremont should be part of that conversation so that you could determine if that was something that you'd like to do. I can give you a little bit of information, which is that group has met once at this point. It involves 6 towns, the 4 on this island, Swans Island, and Lemoyne. And they're, at this point, nowhere near talking about hiring anybody. It's idea sharing. What's your town doing? Oh, we did this, it worked really well for us. Resource sharing. Are there ways that we could work together, or do we each town just kind of do its own thing? It will come up at some point, but it's not at the point now where they're seriously talking about hiring someone, although it may turn out that would be a good idea. So, our goal was to come up with a document that was useful and practical, and by the way, there's Spencer Gray here, who was one of our committees, so there's two of us here. And we feel really good about what we put together, but now it's up to you to decide if it's something that you think is useful for the town. Spencer, by the way, is a new resident of Tremont, lives across from the Kelly farm, and he's the sustainability coordinator for the College of the Atlantic campus. And if you do want to work with COA on a greenhouse gas audit, it's his office that does that. You can answer any questions you have about that. And then we have a resource here that can be helpful when it comes to sustainability issues.
Okay.
I guess that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I personally think it's a great idea. I know the high school eco team did a projection of sea level rise, and it's amazing what a few feet of sea level rise does in Tremont with the marsh and with the height of the bridges and everything. So I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it's something we're going to have to deal with, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I also saw that high school presentation that those kids did, and they did a really professional job, and they were pretty much focused on what the impact would be for Bar Harbor, and I feel like they gave the town of Bar Harbor a lot of useful information. So that was another motivator to get something going here.
I make a motion to adopt and sign the climate resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt and sign the climate resolution. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next thing on the agenda is the MDI Hike and Trails National Register nomination. And I've had a bunch of paperwork about this, Chris.
A bunch of paperwork for something that I'm guessing is not terribly controversial, but
Yeah,
you never
no,
know.
I had a packet come in the mail to me that was that thick.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Oh, I remember getting one of those.
yeah. All right, so anything that's not of the obvious, Chris, on this?
Oh,
Reading that map.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Anything out of the that's not obvious? No, I think it's fairly straightforward. It's mostly, or it's almost entirely symbolic.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a separate meeting with some park officials last week, and I just asked them in passing about this, and that was what they said. It's part of their stewardship responsibility for the trails is to undertake actions that recognize them for the significance that they have, and to protect that resource and promote it as what was just part of their mission to do that. So that is why this proposal is being made. And as far as downsides, I was really trying to dig to see if I could find any reason why not to do this, and it was sort of maybe if the town was applying for a grant that adversely impacted a trail, then you'd have to provide extra rationale for why the town is doing this. But it seems, especially when you look at the map, the only trails in Tremont are up in the western mountains, which it's hard to imagine the town of Tremont doing anything up on top of one of those mountains, and then down by the lighthouse. And again, it's hard to imagine, it's easy to imagine the town doing something down at the lighthouse for parking, but it wouldn't have any effect on that trail.
Yeah.
And so I sort of struggling to come up with a reason why not, but that was sort of my due diligence for the select board.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
I don't think they could have possibly made the print much smaller and put it
I
like
know.
that.
Unfortunately, that is the case.
I don't see any problem with it.
Do you need a motion?
Well, it's sort of, are you negative, positive, or neutral? It sounds like you're either neutral or positive on it. If you're actively supporting of it, you could pass a motion asking me to send a letter actively supporting this effort. If you're neutral, then you could take no action. I am indifferent.
Doesn't matter to me. What?
I
I don't have a
don't
problem
see
either
any
way.
reason not to support them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I make a motion to request the town manager to submit a letter to the State Historic Preservation Commission regarding Acadia National Park's application to place the MDI hiking trails on the registry, stating that the town supports the effort.
Second.
All right. It has been moved and seconded. Just get it right. To request that the town manager to submit a letter to the State Historic Preservation Commission regarding Acadia National Park's application to place the MDI hiking trails on the National Registry, stating that the town supports their effort. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Now it's on to you again, Chris. Town manager's report.
Alright, so major emphasis of the last 2 weeks is first of all, I mentioned that meeting that I was in with Acadia National Park staff that was about Lighthouse Road parking. Pat had indicated that he would be open to deputizing some of the year-round rangers with the park so that they could staff the top of Lighthouse Road to turn away traffic when the parking lot fills up. The park is also open to that. They are working together to try to make that happen. There is, unfortunately, as always, there's some bureaucratic paperwork that has to happen between now and then, but everything is moving in the right direction, and I'm sort of trying to prod it along and be a squeaky wheel every couple weeks to make sure things don't stall out. I've been continuing to participate in the Down East COVID-19 task force. We've kicked off the committee appointment process for this year, which means that we are I've been reaching out to all the current committee folks and asking for those whose terms expire if they're interested in serving another term, and we'll be advertising soon in the paper about open seats. And then we put away the ice skating rink. Some minor projects going on. I've been emailing with the lobster boat race organizers about this year's event. Similar to last year, there's actually not going to be any activity on the town dock itself except for people just getting on and off their boats, so there's no reason for the town to have to weigh in at all on this. And so that event will be happening the last Sunday in June. I sent out a letter regarding Thurston's Marina that you had authorized to the Department of Environmental Protection and the Bureau of Public Lands. I've been working with the property owners next to Tremont Road, Les McEachran, and Tirnanog next door to get that drainage easement. I have the Tirnanog drainage easement back signed, and now I'm planning to meet with Les McEachran about the easement for the McEachran and Hutchins side in early May. I had the MDI portable toilet, removed the toilet from the ice skating rink and put one out at Back Beach and Seal Cove. I completed some annual safety training with the public works staff as well as the harbor master. I've been arranging streetlight adjustments with Affinity, and those should be happening this week. I conducted a vending machine audit. I got some paperwork together for the annual street sweeping, and that should be happening in the next couple weeks. I've been working with a couple of vendors to try to get the security camera installed at the wharf, and should be meeting with them over the next week or so and see what the costs come back for that. I attended the site visit for Acadia Wilderness Lodge. I had my check-ins with Mike and Mackenzie, and I had some emails with Misha from Maine Coast Heritage Trust about the fish ladder project. Some great news came out of that she did win a $50,000 grant from the National Fish Passage Protection Program for that project.
Nice.
So that combined with the other funding sources that are available, we're about $100,000 to $110,000, somewhere in that ballpark, ready to go for that project. The upper end of what it could cost was about $290,000. So if we're going with the highest dollar estimate, then we still have a ways to go, but that it might be considerably less than that. So continuing to work with her to keep that project moving forward. Office staff Jesse has been receiving tons and tons of public comments on the campgrounds and doing a good job of keeping up with that, sharing it with the planning board. He facilitated the Acadia Wilderness Lodge site visit. Katie and Dee and Jan have been helping prepare for town meeting and processing absentee ballots. Those are available at this point. And then you have your town reports in front of you. Katie did a really nice job putting that together and getting it turned around in a very timely way. Public Works projects cleared out a couple trees at Back Beach. All snow plow equipment was taken off the trucks. You can see that out in front of the salt sand shed. They unposted the roads. They helped prepare and launch. They're helping to prepare and launch floats for the season. The ferry terminal floats are going out as we speak. They prepared all the equipment for summer, so lawnmowers, weed whackers, etc. They got the cemeteries cleaned up. They're getting the town office lawn ready to go for the summer. They of course also helped out with putting away the ice skating rink, and they participated in annual safety training. And then Justin's been doing lots of float maintenance and launching. He did the annual safety training. He's been answering some questions about Thurston's Marina. He did do a repair on the electric hoist. He has turned on the water at the wharf, and as happens every year, repaired a broken water line. And then he helped repair the broken lines on the flags here at the town office. Some priorities over the next couple weeks is we of course have town election and town meeting on May 4th and May 5th. We'll be getting an update. I'll be getting an update from Morgan Churchman about the land behind Pacific Hall. We'll be continuing to work on getting committee appointments all lined up for your meeting. I think it's or June 21st is when you guys should be making those reappointments. We'll be meeting with the streetlight installer to make adjustments this week. I'll be continuing to meet with the Down East COVID-19 Task Force. I'll be attending a League of Towns meeting next week. The street sweepers should be coming through in the next couple weeks, and then of course the big Acadia Wilderness Lodge public hearing will be a week from tonight via Zoom.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. This is our last meeting before town meeting.
Yes.
Should we? I was going to say, do we have a plan as to? I know this is a very untraditional way of doing a town meeting, where we're all going to be. We all have to meet at the high school. Anything special that we need to do?
Just show up
Okay.
maybe 10 or 15 minutes early, and I'll tell you where to go.
Okay. Perfect. Sounds good. All right. Suggestions for next meeting. Date of the next meeting.
Make a motion to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, May 10th, 2021 at 5 p.m. at the town office.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, May 10th, 2021, 5 p.m. at the town office. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Wow.
You get a quick one once in a while.
Someone paid for it another dime, but
Seems to work out.
take it